my prime focus for today's presentation will be with regard to bringing in that much needed clarity in your thoughts, okay, regarding what step to be taken next after your internship period to bring in the best out of your career, to level up your career, or to make that advancement in your career, and also to help you out to evaluate the real need for having that master's degree in your hands, or also to uh, guide you towards utilizing the time you have in your hand right now, uh, most to use it more effectively and fruitfully. And so once that clarity is being given to you, like my second aim will be to help you utilize the, yeah, as I've already mentioned, the internship period most effectively. And in this session, I'll also be covering up and give you insights how we can work as a team to utilize the time and energy you have in your hands during your internship period, and how Edentu, this online platform, can help you be in track during your NEET MDS preparation all throughout the journey. So with that, first things first, what after internship? So I don't know if this thought has come to any of your mind. So if any of you have already thought about it, please do mention it in your comment section. Okay, so I know now just that you have passed your undergraduate exams and you are more in a relaxed state. And many of you would be in that state of bliss, happiness, and success and accomplishment. But my dear friends, as somebody who has already passed this phase, let me bring in some revelation that sooner or later, you will have to face a major crossroad in life where you will have to decide upon how to level up your career, how to gain maximum out of the skill set you have in your hands, that is dentistry. What can be done towards it to make the maximum out of it? So you will be all stricken with this thought. And this is, believe me, this is not to take away your happiness right now, but to bring in that revelation and to help you utilize the time and energy you have in your hands, so that you can have a less tension and a less worrisome future ahead. So I think to bring in that clarity, whether like what to do after internship, is MDS itself the right choice after internship? I think it is mandatory that we'll have to look into the various career options we have in our hand after BDS, right? So even when I thought about it, I have listed out few options. So I would also like you also to engage in this presentation by commenting the options you have in your mind, so that in case I have missed out anything, I can educate myself on it. So please type in the comment box. So now let me cover for the time being, and I look into the options you all will be referring to also. So the options, when I thought about this question, what are the various options which you can pursue after BDS? The options which I could come into are these, which I could broadly classify into clinical and non-clinical scenarios. Okay, so let me first cover all the known clinical scenarios and keep them aside. Okay, when I thought about the non-clinical scenarios, you have the various administrative sectors where you can pursue your MBA or MHA or MBA, MPH. All these are basically administrative courses related to, health administration. And if you're a student who is very keen in studies and very curious and research oriented, you can always have the option to get into clinical research. And pharmacovigilance is yet another area, which is actually more or less similar to clinical research. It's a niche in the clinical research, but more related to drug safety and control and things like that. And medical transcription insurance are all the newly popped up career opportunities that are there after BDS. And rest in the non-clinical scenarios are the forensic dentistry. And if you are somebody who really wants to serve the nation, yeah, you are always free to go for civil service exams. But when I look into these non-clinical scenarios, what I want to come to you is that these are all like completely switching your career from dentistry towards a different sector altogether. So all I need to ask you is that uh, if you're somebody who, after this 5 years of dentistry, if you have realized that you are not somebody who fits in dentistry and you have an aversion to it, and if you want to move abroad and pursue some other sector, and that's why if you're doing these courses, okay, well and good, I don't have any comment to comment on. But otherwise, if you are somebody who are looking into these options, thinking that you have less prospectus if you practice as an undergraduate, and if you think that you can't crack the MDS, and so looking for other opportunities, thinking that down the lane, all these clinical areas, non-clinical areas, it's all down the career line, it is smooth and, you know, easy peasy, then I think I need to warn you. Okay, as far as my understanding, and as far as out of my friends and colleagues who have went into these sectors from their experiences, what I understand is that all the sectors, whatever it is, it has got its own difficulties. Nothing comes for free or nothing comes easy. And moreover, take into consideration the administrative and all of this, the working scenario, everything is so different from our dental perspective. Like they have got its own tensions, work pressure. It's almost like more like corporate environments where you will have your own targets. And keeping and all of this aside, taking into consideration the pay scale also, I don't find it that attractive for a beginner. Like it is almost the same as you get it after once you start practicing as a general dentist. Like say for like 15K to 20K per month. Okay, on an average, like 3 to 5 or 3 to 8 lakh maximum. And also the prospectus for growth and advancement after a period in all these sectors are also very limited. I would strongly recommend you to reconsider these options before you jump into that, thinking that it's all flowery at that end of the, uh, side. So I think I've given you enough and more explanation regarding the non-clinical scenarios. Now moving on to our clinical scenarios, where you have, of course, you can pursue your master's degree, and of course, you can join a private clinic as a junior doctor or associate doctor, a college as a tutor, and a hospital or corporate companies as a clinician. You can also have the freedom to set up your own practice. And also you can get into certain other sectors, government sectors or army dental. You can work as an army dental corps, or you can even choose to go abroad. And also, while considering all these clinical scenarios, the reason why I strongly advocate pursuing MDS, or why I strongly advocate at least trying to grab that merit seat for MDS, is that I have already discussed this in my previous session, is because of few important reasons. Uh, now, uh, taking into concern, now that I have passed out in the year 2019 as a periodontist, and I had been working as a general dentist before and also after, and also as a consultant periodontist in various clinics in and around Kochi. And I also got the opportunity to work with some of the most eminent personalities in our dental fraternity. And I have come across various dental graduates who are struggling also. So from the life that I have seen as a dentist, what I could decode was only masters, in their respective fields, they survive and excel in the field. Okay. And when I say that, also always like just follow my words. I told the respective field. Okay. The grass is always greener on the other side. But believe me, guys, like it is not really dentistry that is saturated. It is every field, every social sector is so saturated and crowded with increase in population and new people passing out every year, that competition is so high. So we need to really master our skills if we need to excel and succeed in life, whether it is dentistry or whether it is whatever field you are going into. So I think, and I strongly believe that grabbing that merit seat in MTS or getting that master's degree is the first step towards mastering our field. And that's the one of the main reason why I strongly recommend it. And having that master's degree in your hands will only add on to your value as a dentist. Okay, you take into consideration any other scenarios. First of all, at one shot itself, I would like to cross out the choosing the option as working as private clinic associate, college tutor, and working in a hospital, corporate companies. Uh, when I think of it in a long-term perspective, because just purely because of the salary scale uh, that is being provided. Very sadly, as a junior doctor or as an undergraduate professional, uh, it is very less, like about it starts even from 5K per month to maybe it can be as high as 20K. Okay, it is well and good to pursue, I mean, to go into these sectors to get a hang of work for maybe 1 or 2 years. But then on a long-term basis, looking into its long-term prospects, I don't think these three are a very viable option. So considering the other options, like setting up of your own clinical practice, or joining an army dental corp, or joining some government sectors, or looking out for opportunities abroad. So in all these four scenarios, having that MDS degree in your hand will only add on to your value. Okay. So, for example, even in army, if you want to work as an army dental corps, first of all, you will have to write that NEET MDS exam to get into various sectors in the field of army and defense. And secondly, even the pay scale and everything is more for an MDS graduate when compared to a BDS graduate. And similarly in the government sectors too. But and also there also you will have to face the PSC exam, which is more or less similar to the NEET MDS preparation. And now consider the last option, but the most commonly followed option nowadays, that is going abroad. Consider that if you are choosing to go abroad to a place where a degree is valid, so you will be competing with people who already have their masters in hand, so where you will be soon replaced. So again, that shows the importance of having that master's degree. And in the scenario where you are choosing to go to a place where our MDS is not valid, like the European countries also, you have got their own national board exams, which is more or less similar to the NEET PG. So altogether, what I feel is when you are doing your internship, when you have that ample time in your hands, uh, utilize it properly to try grab that merit seat in MDS. Because now think of that scenario where you grab that merit seat in one of the government colleges for MDS. You get paid for your master's degree. So, and that payment that the government offers is way more than you can get in any of this, if you step into any of the sectors as a beginner. And also that you are being paid for your master's degree. And at the end of the day, you have another added priceless crown, I mean, feather to your crown. So this is, so for all these reasons, I strongly advocate dedicating your time and effort at this point of time when you are comparatively free and relaxed towards your MTS preparation. So I think I could bring some amount of clarity why I advocate for going for MTS, or try preparing for that NEET MTS, and try grabbing that merit seat. Okay. So now if I could bring that clarity, uh, okay, if you have any further doubts with regard to that, you are always free to put it in the comment box. I'll check onto it later. So next question is when to pursue it. What is the ideal time to do it? If it is during internship or after internship, like by dedicating one whole year. Okay. Uh, you may be doubtful. Okay, I'll be competing with people who are repeating and dedicating their entire one whole year. And will I be able to crack the exam just dedicating few hours of my day? So to which I'll be answering in the subsequent slides. But if you ask me generally, what is the ideal time to start your preparation? I would strongly recommend it is during the time of internship. That is simply because of three reasons. First, now that you are in your internship period, you have cleared your undergraduate level, you are no longer, you don't have the responsibilities and commitments of a student. You don't have deadlines to finish, you don't have record submissions, you don't have vivas or exams to attend to. So, and also at the same time, you are still in the college in a protected environment, uh, and the pressure or the expectations from the family and the social from the society side is uh, not there. Like they still consider you as a student, so you don't have the pressure from the societal pressure, as well as you don't have any pressures which a student has. So comparatively, you are more or less free and relaxed, and you have ample time and energy in your hands. uh, all the time and energy you have in your hands, you are free to do with whatever you want to do in your life. Like, so, and I strongly recommend to utilize that towards a better course, which will help you definitely in the future. And for the second reason, that now that you have just passed out, so at least the clinical subjects are all fresh in your mind, the concepts, the theory, and the topics and everything. So it is much easier for you to revise and go through those topics once again during. So the first round of preparation and the first round of revisions that happen in no time, you can save in a lot of time then, rather than just keeping it all aside and then taking it all out after 1 year of time. So that is the second reason. And the third reason is that personally, I I did my preparation, NEET MDS preparation seriously after 1 year of internship. And what I could feel was the tension and the stress and the pressure we, as well as our family or maybe the society, put on ourselves when we sit and dedicate 1 whole year for preparation alone is much more than what we can, it is more or less a relaxed phase during internship. So, which will really have an impact on your results too. So for these three reasons, I strongly advocate that start your preparation right now. Okay, don't wait for the internship to end and for you to be free. Believe me, once you are out of college, once you are into the society, you are never going to be free completely. So don't wait for that. So with that, let me move into the main topics of discussion, like NEET MDS exam format. I'm pretty sure most of you would be knowing that by now. And the changes we are anticipating in the coming subsequent years, and also like how to prepare and what to prepare within the speculated time of 1 year. Okay. So moving on to the first section, that is the NEET MDS exam format. As all of you know, like until now, it was like 240 questions with part A and part B. Part A was all related to the basic science, and part B, the questions would be from the clinical scenarios. And the exam format was MCQ. Which also includes image-based questions and also, more of case scenarios nowadays. And this is a computer-based question where you will be allocated 3 hours of time. Marking scheme is such a way that there will be 4 marks allotted for the correct answer and 1 mark reduced for the incorrect answer. So this was the exam format which we have seen until now, starting from 2017, when NEET has begun. But the coming year, that is the year of 2025-26, we are expecting a change to the pattern. And that is, uh, we are informed that, like, from the coming year, it was going to be a sectioned exam with 5 sections. Okay. For example, section A, B, C, D, and E. And each section will have about 40 questions. So, which altogether rounds to 200 questions, which we'll have to gain clarity regarding that again. But the time allocated is still 3 hours of time. So it is totally 42 minutes per section. So it is like hardly a minute for a question. So And the biggest change is that uh, once this one particular section, when if it lapse, okay, that means, say for examples, you have section A, section B, section C, D, and E. So after that speculated time of 42 minutes, which is allocated for that section A, the computer screen automatically changes to section B, wherein you are not allowed to revisit the already lapsed section. So that is the biggest change that we are going to face in the subsequent exam. Uh, so there is no opportunity to revisit the lapsed sections. Instead, they have given a review option wherein you can mark a review for a particular question in a section. But there also, you are just given a chance to review that question before that section lapses, not after the whole exam. Okay. So this entire scenario, what it demands out of you as a applicant is that you will have to have that speed, the same speed. You have to have that same speed, stamina, alertness throughout the exam. Okay. In the earlier scenario, how was it? It was like you could just go through the question paper and mark all those questions, and I mean answer all those questions which you are sure of, and mark those which are which you didn't know, and then sit back and relax and then attend those questions which you really didn't know after thinking a lot on it. But now that opportunity is not there for us. uh, and if you ask me personally if it is good or bad, it is yet to be seen, but I think the number of negative markings might come down. Okay. If you don't choose to mark it altogether, because that usually this negative marking comes in the second thought and third thoughts. So that might come down, but we have to wait and see the result. But anyways, that is the biggest challenge that is in front of us. And the only method by which we can, tackle this change is that practice more, read more, make the concepts clear, get thorough and well versed with all important concepts and theory, and practice more and more of questions, and you know uh, that is the only way by which we can tackle it. But don't be discouraged when I say about this change. Okay. Because now when I say this, I am reminded of a scenario, uh, like years before, like my brother had made me think about it. Like he was comparatively a very studious student. So like he was a person who used to be very happy when the exam gets difficult or when there is a change with the exam pattern, because then he used to say, if the exam is easy and it's like every time, then it will be easy for all, right? There is nothing that we can do extraordinary. So but in the scenarios where things change, only the very smarter ones who have really prepared well will go and crack it. So there is always a scope for the new ones also to do well in the exams, because the pattern itself has changed. So don't get discouraged with the changing pattern and all that. Just focus on your studies, just focus on your preparation, and utilize the time effectively. Then you will be able to crack whatever change that comes in front of you. Okay. So now moving on to the next question. Okay, internship and exam. So if I'll be able to tackle it, uh, will dedicating 4 hours or 5 hours of my, I mean, of hours in a day of mine help me to grab that merit seat in MDS? Okay. Uh, if you ask me personally, I would say yes, it is possible for all of you to do that. Rather than the amount of time that is invested, if you ask me, I would say it is about the quality of or how much productive are you in that time that you are giving into your studies. And I can reassure that with my own journey of preparation. In my case, I had written the exam in 2015-16, so it was not NEET during that time. It was all India and different state entrance exams. And if you ask me, like, yes, as I've already stated, I was somebody who did my preparation after my internship, because there was nobody to guide me or tell about its seriousness, but I was somebody who always wanted that merit seat. I was somebody who always wanted MDS first of all, because even before joining BDS, I was very particular that I'll do MDS also, because I was somebody who wanted to get into academics, and I was very much passionate about teaching. So I wanted to get into academics. So there was no doubt. And later on, when I reached the clinical postings and all, I figured out that I'll go for perio and implantology, because that is more like a clinical setup. And also, you have more to it. It was interesting for me to read the subject. So the subject which I have to choose, and doing MDS or not, I was quite sure of it. So, during my time, but I was also like any other student. I was, after my undergraduate, after scoring good marks in BDS and all, I was a little bit relaxed, and I decided to enjoy the period of internship. And only after that, I started pursuing my dream of MDS. But after maybe 1 or 2 months of preparation, like sitting dedicated to MDS preparation, I figured out that for me as a person, it is not possible to sit idle and completely dedicate my time towards study. Because, when you have ample time in your hand, always the chances of going behind leisure activities and getting distracted is more. So what I figured, and so the third month onwards, I started working part-time in the sense from 9 o'clock to 3:30 in a clinic. And just like how you go to colleges, usually the college times are from 8:30 to 3:30, right? So just like that, it was like that. The same time, only I also had in my hand. And though my All India rank was not that impressive to get into a good college for Perio, uh, I could crack a merit seat in MDS for Perio in good colleges in all the state entrances that I have written. That is Kerala, Comet K, and Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu, because I did my UG there, so I was eligible to write the entrance exam there also. And if you ask me, how could you crack it? By working part time. All I have to tell you is by pure focus and dedication and determination. That is all what I can tell you. Even I was bombarded with questions like, why can't you sit at home and dedicate your 1 year if you really want to pursue MDS? And my colleagues, my fellow beings, all were like repeaters. So like occasionally I used to get that tension if I have decided it wrong way by choosing to work alongside. But when I think about it now, it has, I could utilize that minimum time I had in my hand. So what decision you have to make, first of all, is that you should be determined and focus that you will achieve that seat in MTS. You are actually working towards it. That determination should be there in your mind. And with the resources and materials, and now fortunately you can have mentors and guidance from various platforms like Edentu. So make use of all of it and do your preparation with focus and dedication and consistently. I think, and I believe that anybody can tackle the exam. It's not as difficult as it seems to be. Okay. So now moving on to, so now what all to be studied, how we should focus on our studies, how to study, how to formulate a timetable to bring out the best in us, to gain the best results out of us, if you ask me. Yeah, so towards that topics. So if you ask me how to study, uh, first let me tell you certain general instructions that mandatorily you will have to follow in your preparation journey. First point is that you all will have to have a fixed routine. When I say fixed routine, a fixed sleep routine. Okay, that is you should be very clear about you bed and what time you are rising up. Okay, it is only then that you will know how much time you have in your hands. Okay, to be dedicated for your other activities in life. Okay, for a person who randomly wakes up and randomly go to bed, they themselves don't know how much time they have in their hand, and only after which, only if you know that, you will be able to manage your time accordingly, right? So first thing, is to have a fixed sleep routine. And next, the most important thing, right from the day you start your preparation, you should have a timetable, a well detailed but a realistic and a practical timetable, which you can follow with consistency throughout this 1 year until the last day of your exam. Okay, so that has to be there. So when I say detailed timetable, I want you to make two timetables. One, which gives you an idea about the distribution of like time, like how you utilize each hour of the day, and another one which has the subject distribution, or the which gives you an idea what all portions or subjects to be covered in that particular month or in a week. Okay. And always make sure that in your timetable, you should have break times. We are all humans, we are not robots. So there is a, all humans have a particular time attention span. Okay, it might vary from 20 minutes to 45 minutes to 1 hour, but not more than 1 hour for most of us. Okay, if you are somebody who can sit for 2 continuous hours, then it's well and good. Make use of that ability of yours. But I am somebody who cannot sit for uh, long, more than 1 hour on a particular subject. So include break times in between. Okay, give your brain time to relax and refresh, and take in more information that you feed into it. That is very much important. And break down your goals, the bigger goal, into smaller achievable goals. By saying that, what I mean is, don't try to finish off the entire portion and everything, sorry, all together, like within a month or two. That is not possible for any of us. And that is really exhausting also. If you ask me, for somebody who worked tirelessly throughout 3 months and then sit back and relax, will not crack the exam, when compared to a person who would be dedicating consistently their 4 hours of the day until the last lap. Okay, so consistency is all that matters, if you ask me. So break down your goals into smaller achievable goals. So you have to put in certain portions for each day so that you can finish it off. Okay, don't put in too much of portions and sit back and think, oh God, I couldn't complete the timetable that I have made, because that really affects your confidence in the long run. Okay, so that are the key factors that has to be included when you make your timetable, and you should have your own timetable. That is another important point. You should not take the timetable of your friend and try to follow it, because each person is different. Each person has their own strategies. So that is the most important thing. And now coming on to distractions, keeping distractions at bay and utilizing certain recreational things or hobbies as stress breakers. uh, by meaning to start preparing for your NEET MDS exam during an internship, I don't mean to tell you that just shut out your outside world and completely give in the focus. Don't do that. Given time for enjoyments also. But when you say about distractions, they are quite a challenge nowadays, like in this modern scenario where you have all the social media and the Instagram and Facebook like platforms. You Once you get into that loop, it's like a never-ending loop. You get lost. You get yourself lost into it. So for a person, if you're a very determined person that you can have a track of the time and you spend on it, okay, well and good. There is no problem using it. But if you're somebody who will lose yourself into it once you start using it, I would say at least keep away from the medias like Instagram or Facebook, like kind of purely recreational medias. Okay. And instead, indulge in activities like exercise, yoga, or outdoor sport, or a hobby that you really like, or reading a book, or maybe talking to a friend, or even consider talking to the family members if they all can give you stress relief. Okay. This is a timetable which I had formulated according to taking into my strategies and my convenience. my attention span and things like that. So here, the whatever that is there in the black, it is actually from 8 to 3:30, wherein that period, most of you interns would be attending the college. In the next slide, I'll be discussing how you can utilize the clinical posting hours also, but still, you might not be able to completely follow whatever I have written from 8 to 3:30. But yet, by formulating this timetable, what I intend to convey is this is how a basic timetable should be, which has in between break times and time for recreational activities. And also, one of the most important thing which I would like to highlight is that if you can see there, from 6:30 to 8, that is the initial hours of a day, I used to spend towards study, wherein I did my revision of the previous day topics. That has worked like wonders in my study pattern. Because when I say revision of the previous day topics, I don't mean that I'll sit the next once after covering one particular topic, the next day morning I'll sit and read the entire portion once again. It was not like that. It was like I'll take that book, but I'll try recollecting all that I have studied and the questions that I have gone through and the questions where I went wrong. Everything in my I would try to recollect in my head, in my memory. And the amount which I could retain in my memory until the last phase of exam, you don't believe me. It was like there was no need of me for revising it. So it was like that. So it had really worked like wonder for me. So which I would strongly advocate for you also to follow. Revision of the previous day topics. Dedicate few hours of the day preferably the morning hours, the initial morning hours towards revision of the previous day topics. And also, I would like to stress upon the point that in your timetable, make note of certain things that will help you keep up your health and fitness, because which is also very important, because it's not all about studying. If you have done your study part so thoroughly and if you fall sick at the end of the day, then it doesn't gain you anything. So you will also have to add in certain activities in your timetable which will help you to stay fit and healthy throughout the journey. And when I say about a week timetable, a week, days of the week, I would strongly recommend you to keep one day as a buffer day. When I say about the buffer day, what I intend is there will be surely backlogs in the portions to be covered. Okay, we are all humans again, and not every day is the same. So sometimes we might not be well, sometimes we'll be stuck up with some other activity. So like we might have backlogs. We even though we intend to finish the topic, it might not happen. So such backlogs can be completed within that week itself if you allocate one day as a buffer day. Preferably Sunday, because Sunday is the only day where you don't have to go to college. So you have a little more time at your hands, right? So that's why I put Sunday as a buffer day. But according to your convenience, you can schedule it. But make sure that you have a buffer day. And now moving on to how that an intern can utilize your clinical hours or posting is that uh, first of all, like the clinical hours and the clinical posting, schedule your subjects in the subject timetable according to your clinical postings. So you can sit and read during that clinical posting. I'm not telling you to sit and read the entire 7 hours you are in the clinic, but you can allocate maybe 2 or 3 hours towards it. And also, while attending cases during your clinical postings, you can apply the theory which you have learned and freshly there in your mind and learn along. And also try giving tests of like 1 or 1.5 hours during the clinical hours. So giving an time for the test, I cannot understate, I cannot, uh, tell the importance of it, completely explain to you the importance of it, because giving in tests are the most important part in your preparation, because it makes you get used to the exams and it helps you manage time during the exam, because it is not about knowing all the answers to every question, but it is about attending and getting time for every question in within that particular time frame. That you will only get if you attend and give in more tests within that prescribed time interval. And also only by giving in more tests that you will be able to evaluate your position and where you stand in your studies, where how much you have progressed as a NEET aspirant. So that way you can utilize your clinical hours or posting hours. And coming on to the final sessions, like what to study. Okay, so what are the resources you have in your hand towards NEET MDS? You have various textbooks, you have MCQ books, and MCQ books will have their own synopsis. And you, of course, have previous year papers, and some of you will have your own notes also. So if you ask me if all of this is necessary, yes, all of this is necessary. But uh, if you ask me if all the textbook, all the MCQ books I should read, no, I would strongly recommend no, because for me, I personally feel less is more than enough. Okay. When it comes to textbooks, if you ask me, they lay the foundation. Okay. Now, NEET MDS exam has been evolving over every year, and now it has come to that scenario where the number of repeat questions have come drastically down. It is to some about 10 to 20 questions are only the repeat questions that are being asked, more of which are case scenarios or clinical scenarios. So wherein what it tells us is that we have to be thorough with the concepts. We have to be thorough with the foundation, which only textbooks can give. And the reading for an entrance exam is completely different from reading for a university exam. Okay. The reading for an entrance exam, I know for a university exam, it will be more like marking all the important questions that are repeatedly asked and by hearting all the headlines and maybe some content in between, right? It is more or less the same for every student. So, but it is different from what when you read for an entrance exam. It is more, it should be more focused on getting clarity with the concepts and theory. And if you ask me, you should only have one standard textbook by your side when you prepare a subject. Take too many subjects or all the textbooks that you can see around you. Just be focused with one single standard textbook and focus on that. Try finishing that. Try to make notes out of it. Okay. And that's how. And so these textbooks and the information and the knowledge we gain from them, they lay the foundation for attending all those new questions that will be asked for the exam. And moving on to the MCQ book also, have one main MCQ book. If and in some scenarios, maybe two. Certain topics and all will be described more effectively. And maybe if you ask me personally, I had followed Dental Pulse mainly and then Gauri Shankar for certain topics. And also to solve the MCQ questions in Gauri Shankar. So just to help me get a hang of it. So similarly, maximum two MCQ books, but you should always have that main standard MCQ book from which you will be following the synopsis. What is synopsis meant for? Synopsis gives you an idea about what what are the important topics in a particular subject that you will have to revise, that you will have to gain in-depth knowledge on. So that is all synopsis is all about. So you will have to have that one standard MCQ. And of course, you should be making notes specifically in your own language from all the extra, sources, wherever you get information from. Just make a note of it in your own language, but make sure that it doesn't exceed more than 15 pages for a subject. Because if it is too lengthy, it doesn't prove you any beneficial, because the whole purpose of making notes itself is that you can use it during the time of revision. During the time of revision, it should be only your main MCQ book, synopsis, and the notes that you have prepared. Okay. And coming on to previous papers, though I have already stated that the number of repeat questions are comparatively or drastically reduced nowadays, but it still comes like about 10 to 20 questions are still repeat questions. And I had come across that in, I think 2 years back in oral surgery, it was all repeat questions. All 14 questions were repeat questions. So such things can also happen, fortunately or unfortunately. So in those scenarios, we should not be laid back, right? Because these repeat questions are those questions which you should be ready with the answers in a fraction of a second, and wherein you don't have any time to lose. And actually, they are the ones that determine the edge in the competition. Actual competition actually starts only after that. Okay, so you should not waste your time searching for answers for the repeat questions. So you should be well versed with the previous papers. Even otherwise, only by solving the previous year papers, you will get a hang of time management during the exam. So this is all about what to study. And if you ask me, like, how many subjects can be studied hand in hand together, I would say 2 or 3 to the maximum. And the subject strategy that I used and I personally felt useful was basically how I did was I studied 2 subjects or 3 subjects that could be connected and studied. For example, like oral medicine and oral pathology, or oral medicine, oral path, and perio. There are many topics that overlap in these things. So it's more like a revision, and um, it is like making our foundation strong by reading these subjects all together. And similarly, physiology and general path, because physiology is all about the normal functioning of the body. Only by knowing that, we'll get to know how the pathology arises, where did it go wrong, so you can connect it and study, right? So similarly, pedo and ortho, basic concepts and the treatment plan, everything remains the same there. So it could also be you can get a good hang of the concepts by studying those subjects that can be connected, and studying them together. Okay. And there is also another subject strategy where you can any subject, the hard subject. I used it to study biochemistry, pharmacology, and dental materials. These are actually specifically biochemistry and pharmacology are comparatively harder subjects for me. So I combined it with subjects which actually relaxed me and where I found really interesting. So periophysiology and similarly dental materials, it's highly volatile, so more interesting, but a type of subjects which you could connect with, prosto or conservative. So similarly, you could also combine subjects and study subjects hand in hand, but not more than 3 subjects together. Okay. So this is kind of, then this slide actually, it is kind of a summarization of what to study and how to study. As I've already told you, plan it ahead, mark your dates, mark your exam dates, not only the grand exam, but also all the, the exams that are there in front of you. If you are joining a coaching institution, uh, mark every exam, consider all of it seriously, and prepare for the exams. And when coming to time management, okay, divide your time, hours of the day, into active hours and passive hours. Okay, active hours, by telling that, what I mean is that time of the day when your mind, body, and so everything is fresh to take in the information that you have to give them. And passive hours is more like a little fatigue hours, wherein you can use it for question paper, going through question papers or for revision. Okay, wherein you need less focus and attention. And yeah, as I've already stated, yeah, have buffer days and have break times and everything that. But more importantly, out of all of this, the most important thing is that whatever timetable you're setting up, just follow it, execute it until the last lap with consistency, dedication, and focus. Don't try to fool yourself. Okay. Then I'm pretty sure that you will find light at the end of the tunnel. And now moving on to the last session of a last part of our session, how we can work together to bring out the best results out of you, best out of this internship period. Okay. How Edentu as an online platform help you out. Okay, we have got this exclusive batch for interns, clinicians, and BDS students. So with these exclusive batches are in terms of the time that is available for each of these category, and also there is a well structured and realistic timetable and study material that will be provided to you. And there will be a set of video lectures which are live as well as recorded, all based on the concepts and theory, to make you thorough with all the concepts and theory. And there is a series of revision and test and MCQ discussion with doubt clearing sessions, with additional question bank of more than 30,000 questions and additional image bank. So everything, and even study notes with high yielding topics will be provided for you. And remember, all of this is at your fingertips. You need not be there physically to attend to any of this. Okay, you can use your convenient time, you can use it according to the timetable you have formulated to make use of all these resources that have been formulated exclusively for you. And above all of this, the most important highlight is that in Edentu, we have a personal mentorship where a personal mentor will be provided for a batch of 10 to 20 students, wherein you can approach that mentor and guide for whatever doubts or, to gain clarity with whatever thing that you have in mind, which is another wonderful thing, because you don't have to waste your time seeking answers for all your, you have got your mentors ready to help you out. So then what are you waiting for? Uh, Grab this opportunity, follow it with discipline, consistency. Then at the end of the day, you will reach that state where you will have the self-belief and confidence to finally crack the exam. So the first thing to do is just to start, and feel free to text or call with regard to any doubts that you have in your mind. So I hope the session was useful to you all. Thank you.